Did you know that just one glass of milk a day could be quietly damaging your prostate? It may sound unbelievable, but many everyday habits that seem completely harmless are actually behind why so many men over 50 wake up 3 or 4 times a night, feel constantly tired, struggle with sleeplessness, and gradually lose their confidence. I'm Dr. Claire Morrison, a urologist here in Canada, and I understand exactly how that feels. The good news is, it's not too late. By making just a few small changes in your daily diet, you can restore deep, uninterrupted sleep, regain your strength, and bring your body back to its natural balance. In this video, we'll uncover 3 common foods that may be silently harming your prostate, and I'll share simple, science-backed ways to protect your health and vitality. If you care about your well-being, make sure to like this video, subscribe to Dr. Claire Morrison, WARS, Men's Health, and leave a comment below sharing where you're from and your age, so I know exactly who I'm walking this journey with. Mr. Robert, 67, from Vancouver, is a typical man I often see in my clinic. He used to be an engineer, active, athletic, and rarely ever sick. But over the past few years, he started waking up several times each night to urinate. At first, it was once, then twice, and eventually 5 times a night. The more often it happened, the more his sleep was disrupted. He felt exhausted, drained, and his mood declined. He told me with a weary voice, "What exhausts me most isn't getting up to pee. It's watching my wife lose sleep because of me." Those words stayed with me, because behind the physical symptoms lies an emotional pain that many men never talk about. They feel weaker, as if they're no longer in control of their own bodies, and gradually lose confidence within their own homes. During the examination, I found that his prostate was slightly inflamed and enlarged. But what was more concerning were his other numbers: blood pressure, cholesterol, and blood sugar, all showing signs of chronic systemic inflammation. We reviewed his diet together: a morning coffee with milk, red meat at lunch, and pastries in the evening. Everything sounded normal. Yet it was precisely those normal habits that were fueling his health issues. I explained to Mr. Robert that the prostate is like a delicate valve within the body. When the body experiences ongoing low-grade inflammation, the prostate is affected too. It swells and puts pressure on the urethra, which weakens the urinary flow, causes interruptions, and leads to frequent nighttime urination. The more you hold it in, the worse it gets. The more you eat the wrong things, the more that fire of inflammation burns inside you. Once he understood the cause, he began making small, gradual changes, cutting out cow's milk, reducing red meat, and eliminating sugary foods. 3 weeks later, he called me and said, "Doctor, I finally slept 5 straight hours last night. I feel lighter, like a weight has been lifted off me." His voice was full of relief and joy. I share his story so you understand this. If you're waking up multiple times at night, if you feel less strong or less energetic than before, the issue isn't your age. Your body is trying to tell you that it needs support, and sometimes by simply adjusting a few daily eating habits, you can help your prostate breathe again. In the next part, we'll dive into the first major culprit, a type of food most people believe is healthy, but that may actually be silently damaging the prostate every single day: milk and dairy products. Since childhood, most of us have been told that drinking milk makes you strong, keeps your bones healthy, and helps you live longer. But what few people realize is that after the age of 50, the male body no longer processes milk the same way it did in youth. And that change turns milk, the very symbol of health, into a silent enemy of the prostate. Cow's milk contains 2 hidden dangers: the growth hormone IGF-1 and excess calcium. IGF-1 is a natural hormone that helps calves grow quickly. However, once it enters the adult human body, it can stimulate cell proliferation, including prostate cells. It's like sending the body a misleading order: keep growing. And when cells grow uncontrollably, the prostate begins to enlarge. On the other hand, the high calcium content in milk reduces vitamin D levels, a vital nutrient that helps regulate cell growth. Without enough vitamin D, the body loses its traffic signal, and cells start multiplying chaotically. A study published in Prostate Cancer and Prostatic Diseases found that men who consume large amounts of milk have a higher risk of both prostate enlargement and prostate cancer. I remember one of my patients, Mr. Julian, 72 years old, a widower living in Calgary. Every morning, he would have coffee with milk and a pastry. When I explained how cow's milk could be affecting his health, he hesitated and said, "But I've been drinking it my whole life. How can I just stop?" Still, he agreed to try switching to unsweetened oat milk for 3 weeks. The results were remarkable. After just 2 weeks, he was sleeping better, and his nighttime urination had noticeably decreased. "I can't believe it," he told me with a smile. "Just by changing my milk, I feel so much lighter." There's another issue too. As we reach middle age, many people develop lactose intolerance, an inability to properly digest the natural sugar in milk. This leads to bloating, digestive discomfort, and triggers widespread inflammation throughout the body, including the prostate. So, if you love the taste of milk in the morning, choose smarter alternatives: unsweetened almond, oat, or soy milk. These plant-based options not only reduce inflammation, but also provide fiber and antioxidants. Every glass of plant milk you choose today is like a drop of cool water that helps extinguish the silent fire of inflammation within your body. In the next part, we'll talk about another major culprit, a food deeply rooted in tradition, yet one of the leading causes of chronic inflammation in the prostate: red and processed meats. In Canada, just like in many other countries, meat often represents joy and togetherness. A family barbecue, a cozy Sunday lunch, there's always steak, sausages, or smoked ham on the table. Yet this familiar comfort is quietly becoming the fire that fuels inflammation and damages the prostate of countless men day by day. When we eat red or processed meat frequently, the body is forced to process large amounts of saturated fats, heme-iron, and harmful compounds that form when meat is grilled or fried at high temperatures. Saturated fats act like thick oil, clogging the tiny blood vessels that supply the prostate, reducing oxygen flow and making the tissue more prone to inflammation. Heme-iron, the type of iron found in red meat, generates free radicals like tiny electric sparks that damage cells and trigger chronic inflammation. And when meat is grilled or fried, it produces heterocyclic amines and polycyclic aromatic hydrocarbons, PAHEs, compounds capable of damaging DNA and accelerating prostate aging. A Harvard University study that followed more than 26,000 men over 12 years found that those who ate the most processed red meat had a 30% higher risk of prostate inflammation. I remember one of my patients, Mr. Anthony, 63 years old, from Halifax. He owned a small butcher shop and had spent his entire life surrounded by beef, sausages, and smoked meats. When he came to see me, he was waking up 6 times a night to urinate, felt constantly tired, his complexion was dull, and his spirit was low. When I reviewed his diet, I asked gently, "How often do you eat vegetables each week?" He laughed and said, "Honestly, I can't even remember." We started with one simple change: cutting back red meat to just 1 meal per week and replacing it with salmon, sardines, or lentils and chickpeas. A month later, he returned with a bright smile. "Doctor, I only get up twice a night now, and I feel so much lighter," he said. That improvement wasn't magic. It was the natural result of reduced inflammation and better blood circulation. When the body is no longer overloaded with saturated fats, the blood vessels in the pelvic area expand, allowing the prostate to recover and function properly again. Recent research also shows that processed meats can disrupt the gut microbiome, the area responsible for producing more than 70% of the body's natural anti-inflammatory compounds. When we consume too much meat, harmful gut bacteria produce a compound called TMAO, which increases inflammation and contributes to prostate enlargement. So instead of thinking that a meal without meat is tasteless, see reducing meat as giving your body a chance to heal. Every time you choose grilled fish, steamed beans, or fresh greens instead of a fatty steak, you're pouring cool water onto the inner fire of inflammation. And if meat is the fire, then the next food we'll talk about is the gasoline poured onto that fire, something sweet that nearly everyone consumes every single day: refined sugar. A morning coffee with a pastry, a can of soda in the afternoon, or a few cookies after dinner. They may seem like harmless little pleasures, but for many men over 50, these are the sweet poisons they're unknowingly taking every single day. The human body, especially after the age of 50, becomes extremely sensitive to refined sugar. Each time blood sugar spikes, the body releases insulin to bring it back under control. But when this process repeats constantly, chronically elevated insulin triggers widespread inflammation throughout the body. And the prostate is one of the organs most vulnerable to that damage. Sugar also harms the tiny blood vessels, reducing circulation to the pelvic area and causing fatigue and decreased sexual function. Excess glucose creates the perfect environment for bacteria and oxidative stress, leaving prostate cells surrounded by a constant smoke of inflammation. I remember one of my patients, Mr. Raymond, 68 years old, a bus driver from Toronto. He used to drink 2 cans of soda a day to stay alert during his night shifts. When he came in for a checkup, he told me, "Doctor, my urine flow feels weak, like I never really finish." I suggested just one simple change. Replace the soda with mineral water infused with lemon and a few slices of cucumber. 3 weeks later, he called back and said, "I've lost about 6 pounds. I'm sleeping better, and I only get up twice a night now. I can't believe something so simple could make such a difference." That experience is proof that we don't need drastic changes, just the right ones. And here's something few people realize. As we age, our brains become more addicted to sugar. Every time we eat sweets, the brain releases dopamine, the happiness hormone, which makes us crave that same pleasure again and again. But this short burst of happiness comes at the cost of long-term imbalance in the body. The solution, however, is surprisingly simple. Replace pastries with fresh, fiber-rich fruit. Swap sugary drinks for mineral water, plain water, or mild herbal teas. And if you crave something sweet, choose a teaspoon of pure, natural honey instead. Unrefined and wholesome. Every time you say no to a can of soda, you're extinguishing a small fire that's been slowly burning your health. More importantly, you're sending your body a powerful message. I'm starting over, to live stronger, healthier, and more in control. In the next part, we'll review the 3 main causes we've discussed. And I'll guide you through a simple 30-day change you can start today to feel a real difference in your health and energy. At this point, you might be wondering, I've eaten these foods all my life. Is it too late to change now? The answer is simple. It's never too late to start. The human body has an incredible ability to heal itself, as long as we stop fueling the fire of inflammation and begin nourishing it with foods that restore balance. Let's recap the 3 silent enemies of the prostate that we've talked about. Animal milk disrupts hormonal balance and stimulates abnormal cell growth. Red and processed meats clog blood vessels and drive chronic inflammation in the immune system. Refined sugar causes insulin imbalance, oxidative stress, and feeds harmful bacteria. The truth is, you don't need to eliminate everything at once. I often tell my patients, don't aim for perfection, aim for consistency. Start with just one small change for the next 30 days. For example, one of my patients, Mr. Vincent, 70, from Montreal, decided to completely cut out refined sugar. He replaced his sweetened coffee with black coffee, switched from white bread to whole grain bread, and began eating more fresh fruit. 3 weeks later, he told me, "Doctor, not only am I sleeping better, but my mind feels clearer, like I've been recharged." Just one simple change triggered a cascade of positive effects: reduced inflammation, improved circulation, and restored hormonal balance. Research published in the Journal of Inflammation Research found that after only 4 weeks of reducing inflammatory foods, markers of inflammation in the blood, such as CRP, can drop by up to 30%, leading to better sleep, higher energy, and an improved mood. That means you can truly feel the difference in just 1 month if you stay consistent. To get started, ask yourself 2 simple questions. Which of these 3 food groups appears most often in my diet? What healthier option could I replace it with? Something easy and realistic to maintain every day. If you can choose just one and begin today, You're already ahead of thousands of men who continue to suffer from the same symptoms without realizing why. Remember, your body doesn't need to be forced. It needs to be listened to and cared for. When you treat it with kindness, it responds with balance, vitality, and peace. So challenge yourself. 30 days, just one small change. Then come back and share in the comments what you did and how it made you feel. Your story might become the inspiration that helps another man reclaim his sleep, his strength, and his confidence, just like you. And now, before we wrap up, I want to leave you with a small reflection. A personal message for those who have already walked through half of life's journey, yet still want to live healthy, strong, and fully alive. There's a quote I always keep in mind. We don't grow old because of time. We grow old because we stop taking care of ourselves. Health isn't a fixed gift. It's the result of small, consistent choices we make every day. A lighter meal, a glass of clean water, a peaceful night's sleep. I've met many men over 60 who once believed they had to accept fatigue, insomnia, and frequent nighttime urination as part of aging. But by changing just one simple habit, they rediscovered a sense of peace within their own bodies. One 74-year-old gentleman once told me, "I haven't become young again, but I finally feel alive." And perhaps that is what true health really means. If you found today's video helpful, please give it a like and share it with a friend or family member who may be struggling with similar issues. Sometimes a single piece of information can change an entire life. Don't forget to subscribe to Dr. Claire Morrison, Men's Health, to receive more practical science-based health tips you can easily apply every day. And I'd love to know, where are you watching from, and what's the first change you'd like to make after watching this video? Share it in the comments below because your story might become the motivation another man needs to take back his health and confidence. Remember, your body can still heal, no matter your age. And today is the perfect day to begin.